So this is gonna be my makeup assignment for. Sorry, I had to switch to my Blackboard. I have it open where it sits. Fredrick Douglass and John Lewis. So the first quote I chose, I don't know why I have so many tabs open, was from John Lewis's last words, and I chose to quote: "Democracy is not a state; it is an act, and each generation must do its part to help build what we call the beloved community, a nation and a world society at peace with itself." I think this the phrasing, sorry, one of my tabs is too big. It transforms democracy from a noun into a verb, something we do rather than something we have. That stood out because it makes democracy for me feel more personal and active in a world where we've seen rather than it's just being distant, which it is. Lewis put the responsibility for justice and peace into the hands of each person rather than just specific people. To Lewis, democracy was a sacred duty. He lived through arrests, beatings, and near-death experiences in the name of civil rights. To him, the beloved community was a vision worth sacrificing for. And it was one that demanded the persistence and courage and love to be able to protest these things. This quote reflects his belief that each generation inherits the generational responsibility to carry the torch. I chose the CIT question: what does it mean to form a more just society for the common good? So his entire life and this quote focus on that question, and he teaches that justice doesn't create itself. It's something that we have to keep creating ourselves, and with every act, and with every act of love, and every resistance against the hateful actions of people. This quote reminds me that civic duties such as voting and speaking out and helping others is part of what makes life meaningful, especially today where these injustice and division still persist. Lewis's words are a reminder that silence is not enough, and we have to live it depends on us, because it does. The democracy is in our hands. We have the ability to we have the ability to do so much, but people don't realize that when they're talking about this should be done, you have the chance to do it. Things obviously I'm not gonna speak on many things because that's gonna get very political, but you have the right to do so many things, but people don't understand that. And within what the hell are these cats doing? In the name of civil rights, you have to stand up for what you think is right. And from Fredrick Douglass, I chose: "This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn." This quote is emotionally devastating. It exposes the contradiction of American independence. During this time, obviously, obviously, oh my god, I don't know how to say this. The way American population celebrated freedom, people of color still remained enslaved. Douglas forces his audience to confront the moral truth that was being ignored, and he does so with truthful honesty. It was emotionally devastating to read. I think this quote obviously is important because Douglas was a formerly enslaved person, speaking to a nation that claimed liberty but denied it to millions of people. to him, the statement was both personal and political. Like, it was his way of saying you cannot speak, like, of freedom while enslaving others, which is an important thing to think about, because he didn't want to, like, destroy America's ideals. He wanted the country to live up to them. Like, he wanted to, like, oh, he wanted America to live up to the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the independence that it talks about. Oh, hi, Java. This is important because, obviously, like, his arguments are, like, grounded in, like, spiritual truth and, like, morals, rather than, like, obviously, like, worldly views and stuff. But, like, he often, like, set his arguments in, like, in this quote, he's demanding recognition of, like, humanity and of the God-given, like, dignity that has been denied. Like, he's talking about, like, the denied, like, freedom. It's a call for, like, Americans that real freedom and justice aren't, like, partial, that they must be, like, universal. Like, everyone must have freedom, or they're, like, or the like, the founding documents of the United States are lying. I think this quote definitely challenges me to, like, consider who is still left out of, like, freedom today, especially, like, nowadays with everything going on. It, like, makes me ask, are we still, like, free, or, like, are we really free if, like, some communities aren't free? Like, are we really free if there's things like oppression or inequality? Like, obviously, like, his words aren't history. They still apply today. Like, this quote teaches us to, like, look beneath the surface and ask harder question about, like, who, like, about, like, these things, like, who this is really impacting and who is still mourning these things. Because there are people, like, obviously today we see with, obviously, like, things I didn't want to bring up, such as, like, deportation and things, like, we see that through today, like, with those things, and, like, they, like, his words aren't just history, like, they still apply. Like, this quote, like, still applies to today, because people are being mistreated, like, not taken care of by the government, like, they're being denied freedoms. Trying to get rid of birthright citizenship is a little crazy, because you're born in the U.S., you are a U.S. citizen. Be real. I'm like, I feel like how this connects to today, it's called, like, obviously back then, like, when all of this was happening, it was demanding recognition of black, like, and black and people of color. But now it, like, can speak on my cat. But now it, like, speaks on, like, all minorities that aren't being taken care of. I don't know how to word all of this without. Really, Java? Obviously, like, things are still being denied to this day, and it sucks. But, yeah.